he denied Christ 3 times. Christ asked him 3 times. And each time, though, Christ gave him a different assignment, didn't he? Feed his lambs, care for his sheep, feed his sheep. Now, if you read this in the Greek, Christ used 2 different words for love. The first time, he used the word agape. The second time, he used philos. One means unbounded love for all. The other one means brotherly love. But that isn't something that really needs to be looked at or made a big thing of, other than the fact that both are about loving who? Each other. It's about, because the eyes there are all brothers, or what he's trying to imply is, do you have the kind of love you would have for a brother? For Christ is what? For those of us that accept him, he is what? He is our brother. The sheep are who? They're all of us. You notice, though, he started with one of the fundamental concepts that we need to always remember. What are lambs? They're baby sheep, aren't they? They're the young. I wonder if Christ was trying to say the first and foremost thing that we need to make sure we do is to make sure we show the love that we should toward our young. And I don't mean our own children, I mean those of the church. What is one of the fundamental things that we promise to do in every baptism of a child? To care for and teach that child, not as a parent, but as part of the church, that we accept the responsibility for raising that child, feeding him, as it were, on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Next he says, care for my sheep, tend my sheep. How do we tend our sheep? We're supposed to treat each other and be with each other and take care of each other. There's another term, and it's one of those things we don't use a whole lot today, but need to. It says, bear one another's burdens. You know, most of the time today in the church and in the world, we have gotten so pious is part of it, but the other part is just self-centered. What's the last thing we want to do? Oh, we don't want to tell anybody our troubles. We don't want to let somebody know we have problems. Oh no, let's pretend we don't. What does that deny? It denies the ability for your fellow members of the church, your family members, the ability to share those burdens and to help you through them. And guess what, folks? When you do that, you're doing exactly opposite of what Christ teaches we should do. Get over it. If you have a problem, we're taught to take it to the church, take it to the other members, and let them help us with it. Thereby doing what? Not only lightening our own burdens, but also sharing things with one another. You know what? When you share things with one another, what happens? You become much closer. You really learn to care about others. It is the foundation of agape. It is the foundation of love for one another. The ability to trust each other with those problems. The treating each other as brothers and sisters is the other part of it. The tending to our sheep. A shepherd does what? He makes sure that the sheep are cared for. They have water, they have food, that something does bad from the outside doesn't come in and get them. If you don't think there are bears and wolves out there, or lions or whatever, not trying to destroy people's lives, they take different forms, but they're still there. And anybody that says they don't need other people's help are foolish. And he used that term very pointedly. There's not a one of us that could go through life that we don't need others at times. And he says, feed my sheep. Feeding each other is not just about food, folks. It's about caring. It's about reaching out. It's about talking and discussing the gospel of Jesus Christ. And one of the most troublesome statements that is common in the world today is, oh, you don't discuss politics or religion out publicly. Well, the other person that said that was two things, a fool and an atheist. The people that don't want religion discussed are those that don't want religion, period. Because if you don't talk about Christ, what are you doing? You might as well be denying him. You're ashamed of him, so you don't talk about it. You know what? We need to talk about religion and Jesus Christ every chance we get, and as much publicly as we can. What do you think they're fighting and trying to do daily? And that silence the message of Jesus Christ. When's the last time you heard of a civil suit or a suit trying to block any other religion? Anytime. Just doesn't happen. The one religion that they're trying to block is Christianity, because they know the truth of it. And they don't want people saved. The last part of this is interesting because Christ tells Peter how he is going to die. That he will be martyred. That now in his younger years he is able to go where he wants to and do what he wants to. But eventually what will happen is that he will be taken. He'll no longer have the ability to go or do, and that they will eventually take him. And many theologians think the comment, stretched out his arms, is speaking of the crucifixion of Peter. Of course, Peter was crucified upside down because he did not feel worthy to die in the same way that Christ did.